All right. This last skill, this last point that we're going to talk about is going to be the complexity point. And this is generally the hardest point to get in College Board essays because most of the time students just don't get to it. They run out of time with all their documents and all their analysis and all the different things you have to do to get the previous points. Okay. First thing you need to take a look at is what skill has College Board asked you to demonstrate with the essay itself. So if we look at this one, evaluate whether or not the Protestant Reformation was a radical change to established hierarchies. When I wrote the essay, I was writing it as a causation, okay? So let me kind of explain that. The first document was dealing with Luther's action caused this to happen, or the Danish laws changed because, that's a causation, because these things were happening in the society. Or Anne Askew was motivated by her belief in religion, so that caused her to do this other thing, okay, become martyr, right? So we're definitely writing a causation essay. Now, I can choose to continue with my causation, okay, and then bring in outside arguments that also support. So discussing similarities and differences in different parts of the Reformation in Europe, that's the one I'm going to choose. But there's other things you could do. You could talk a little bit about how a male point of view versus a female point of view. You could talk about changes in continuities over time, how religion may have stayed important throughout Europe during this time period, but these little aspects of it might have changed, things like that. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and write my complexity. Okay, now stick with me here. So I'm going to discuss Henry VIII first because there were two documents that discuss Henry, and that's kind of just what popped into my head. Okay, so we have our Catholic priest here who is discussing, oh, I don't like these changes that are being made in Henry's England. No, I'm not a real big fan of it. Okay. And then also in Henry's England was when we had Anne doing her thing, okay, challenging religion and whatnot there. Okay. So I'm going to start by connecting it by talking about the Anglican faith, okay? So, which is ultimately what Henry creates. While the Anglican faith being established, in England and causing problems there. Other nations had different reactions. To the spread of Protestantism. Okay, so here is, an issue that we're bringing up that it was causing problems. Okay, Henry VIII, England had originally been a strong Catholic, like his counterparts in Spain and France. They, however, respond by different means. So I'm setting up, here's one of the things that they had in common. Now, Henry was originally Catholic, Spain is Catholic, France is Catholic. However, Spain responds with to the threat are as they see it with the Spanish Inquisition. Later attempts to spread Catholicism to the New World. By converting natives. France creates laws both supporting and outlawing religious freedoms depending on the ruler. Time. Okay. Ironically, during the Enlightenment period, and French Revolution, France would abolish all religion. Okay, so I have compare and contrasted what was going on in other countries with some of the documents. Okay, so this is it's showing that I'm bringing in a lot of outside information. I'm adding to the argument. I'm adding to my compare and contrast. I am comparing and contrasting, and I am using causation at the same time. Okay, so I'm saying, you know, because the Protestant Reformation was spreading, this was Spanish reaction, this was France's reaction. Okay, and they are, and I'm comparing, contrasting them with each other and what was going on in history of that time. Okay. Lastly, most of Europe grow tired of the wars and ultimately adopt the Enlightenment idea that personal choice, religion, best kept out of politics. All right. So It's a lot. And it's a really, really, mine is, you know, a long extension of a complexity point, but I did kind of want to throw in as much detail as possible to show you, you know, how it is that you can get that complexity point. You know, if it's asking you causation, use another skill. I did compare and contrast. You know, I did some of the others. I even talked a little bit about changes in continuities over time, okay? And where things went historically. Really showing off to College Board here. I hope you practice this one. It is the most complicated, and I look forward to reading your essays. Thank you and have a good day.